Bye. Hey, everyone. Look, we was off for 2 weeks, but we are back. This is Let's Talk Football with Sha'Niece and Friends. And I have my friend Brian on here. And look, we're going to jump right into football because we have been off for 2 weeks. We had Halloween and was out with the kiddies last week. When I tell you, Brian, I had no voice. I had no voice last week.
I can only imagine.
It was so funny. I literally called. I forgot. I had to make a call to someone. Whether it was, I forgot who I was calling at work, and it was like, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am, your phone is breaking up." I had on my service. I had on my. Service. I had no voice. I literally told Rashad, I was like, bro, I have no voice. It was bad. So I was like, we couldn't do it last week, but we got a lot to talk about this
Yes.
week. Look, we had, I think what's hard, and I was thinking about this before we started. I was like, I think what's hard is that my Giants came into this season doing what you were supposed to do in the offseason.
Correct.
Despite what people think about Daniel Jones getting a contract or not.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones was in a market that wasn't saturated. He was in a market where there wasn't really a lot available. We talking about Derek Carr, who, what is he doing with the Saints? And Jimmy Garoppolo. Was Baker Mayfield.
Baker.
Baker was available.
Baker didn't even get a bag. Baker still hasn't got a bag yet.
Whoa.
He hasn't.
Hold on, wait. That whole time Baker
if it was an extension, it came and went. But I don't think Baker never received a bag, never received an extension from Cleveland.
You're right. Because they shipped him off to Carolina when they gave Deshaun that big contract.
They shipped him to Carolina, and then he went from Carolina to the Rams, and now he's
now with the Bucks. He's probably making like league. I mean, he's not making league minimum,
yeah. But I would not be surprised if he gets a bag from Tampa.
I don't know.
And that's 3, 4, 5 or something like that. And that's if they make the playoffs. Because here's the thing, like at this point in your career, at this point with Tampa Bay, it's like, dog, like Baker, this is all we have.
But so, and again, that's the thing, right? Like we were in a similar situation like Tampa, right? Like Tom Brady finally retired.
Yeah.
And they were stuck in like, well, we don't have a good enough draft position. And it's not like this upcoming season where there was a bunch of QBs in the draft, right? Like a lot of teams were kind of in this weird limbo of like, okay, well, what can we grab that's going to work potentially for another year, and then maybe next year we can refocus. And for my Giants, we paid Daniel Jones whether you liked it or not, and I'm on a bunch of different Giant fan casts, and according to which day people feel away. But I tell people all the time, like we signed him because we didn't have a lot of choices out there, and he built enough rapport and getting a playoff win. You had to say like, okay, well look, we're gonna, and it's not, again, he got a bag, but he didn't get the highest bag. He's now what, like the 8th or 9th highest paid quarterback. So everybody chill out. Dak still makes more than him. Correct. You know, like Patrick Mahomes makes more than him. Like all the good elite quarterbacks still make more than Daniel Jones. So let's start there.
Correct.
And so we came in with this hope of like, okay, we should be doing something, right? Like we can hang in the pack. That was always the thought. I was like, it'll probably, the standings will probably look exactly the same, but we'll be able to hang in the pack. We'll probably get maybe one of those wild card spots and do a little, get jiggy with it.
Yes.
And the fucking bottom fell off instantly. Listen, so
I felt so bad for you guys because it's like after that comeback win of against Arizona, I'm thinking like, okay, let them get into a groove, you know, knock on wood, no injuries, no this, no fuss, no muss. Then it's like week after week after week, it's something was happening.
It's crazy. Like when for those who listen who don't know, like Brian and I, we've been cool forever. We met on a football field.
Yes, on the football field talking about
Literally
football.
talking about football,
Yes,
Cowboys fan, Giants fan, like it is what it is. So like these matchups, you want them to be good, you want them to be
right.
competitive. And outside of just Daniel Jones has never beaten the Cowboys. Because we was like,
Yes.
because someone said a stat where they was like, oh yeah, the Cowboys that beat the Giants for 12 years. I said, no, they beat them 12 games. We're division foes. That's 6 years. That
Yes.
is the entire time that Daniel Jones has been there. Eli Manning has beat the Cowboys. I want to set the record straight because I think there were a few outlets who were saying that, and I'm like, you have to give folks context.
Unfortunately, baby brother did his record
Right.
against the boys
We've had our games, right?
it's
Like,
a
and that's
respect.
what,
Respect.
right. But that's what the Giants and Cowboys have been, just like any of these divisional games. Like you
Mhm.
are competitive. You may have some years. There are years when we've swept Washington. Those RG3 years where they was out here getting everybody's number. You know what I'm saying? Like there
Listen,
have been on and off years, but like we've always been competitive in the division. And this is the first time I will honestly say going into this game, I was like, I don't even have a shred of hope. I didn't have a shred of in all of my years being a Giants fan, even
that,
the good bad years, I didn't have a shred of hope for this game. And
yeah,
it was the wildest thing ever.
yeah. At this point in the season, you got to put the season on rice. You got to put it in rice. You have to. I mean, I don't. Brian Daboll is probably gonna get probably he's gonna get fired.
No, he's not. I'm gonna tell you why. But go ahead. I'm gonna
I,
let you.
I think he's gonna get let go. I think they're gonna reevaluate Daniel Jones and look at everything like did we pull the trigger too early as far as
Absolutely.
giving him the bag. I think the draft is so wide open with quarterbacks now that them getting a more like a third, fourth rounder wouldn't be bad. Or, I mean, dare I say, trade Saquon for a higher pick to get that premier. Kind of like I was telling you a couple weeks back, like the New York Football Giants have never had a superstar type of quarterback. You guys always relied on offensive linemen, defensive linemen,
Full team.
a receiver here or there, but really a defensive presence. Like when you think New York Giants, I'm thinking like the grind, getting out from the mud. Like I'm gonna hit
You
you.
had a
Get
solid running
me.
back core for a
Yeah,
few
your
years. Yeah.
LTs, your Strahans, your OCs, your
Yeah.
JPPs, et cetera, et cetera. And then all you do is just plug in a quarterback, your Phil Sims, your I don't know. I think Drew Bledsoe played for you guys. I want to
Yeah.
say
Of
once
course, yeah.
or twice. Of course, Eli, and now Daniel Jones. So I think it's time. Still have that philosophy of getting out from the mud, but let's bring in a quarterback because there's too many quarterbacks not for New York to be like some mid.
Yeah, no, it's so the reason why I say we're not gonna get rid of Dayball because there's a washing away of everything that Dave Gettleman and
Oh
and and Joe Judge did.
yes,
So that's not Brian's pick. And to me, you have a guy where I think, and this is just my opinion, I think if we were in a situation similar to what the Texans were in, where it's like, look, we're going to bring in a new coach who's going to draft his, and I mean, think about, I mean, the Texans had what, like 10 draft picks? Like, we're going to let this new coach come in, we got this new GM, and we're going to let you pick all of your guys. And I mean, if you really look at what the Texans were able to do, And I feel like we might be jumping around this today, but that's fine. Who cares? It's my podcast. We're gonna do what I want to do.
Panthers definitely drafted the wrong quarterback, but
I know they're hurt. They're hurt. But here's the thing, and me and I may talk about it. I think two things can be true. I think the Panthers did what they thought was going to be best, but at the exact same time, the Texans were just primed to be what they are. Like, I'm not shocked that the Texans are good. Like, when you have 10 draft picks, you have a team that you pretty much, I mean, only person they kept was what, like Davis Mills, the backup? Like, D'Amico Ryans was able to come in, and I will say this from someone who was a cheerleading coach, right? And you may look and be like, oh, it's cheerleading. Coaching is coaching. It is so different when you come in and you're coaching girls that aren't your girls. You really just have to deal with the stuff that you got, and you got to make the best of the situation. When I first came in and coaching, I was like, there were 5 girls. I was like, I would cut them if they weren't half of my stunting squad. I can't get rid of them. Like, I technically need these girls.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the best with what I can. But I was like ready for the next season. I was like, you're gone. I'm keeping you. You're captain. You can do that. And what D'Amico Ryans got to do as a rookie coach was literally come in and handpick everyone, including his quarterback. And I think that's where the Texans are seeing the success that Carolina didn't see. And I think even if it was the opposite, we would be talking about Bryce Young overcoming his height and his stature, doing well.
Absolutely.
It's truly because when you look at what Carolina did, they didn't have anything, and they didn't have anything else to choose from. They didn't do well when it came to trading. And I think that's why you have that success. But I use that as an example because what Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen have to do is clean house. I think the last asset we do have, like you said, is Saquon. And I think Saquon passionately loves the organization. I think it's an organization like a Dallas, like a Steelers, where you can come in here and be a forever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I definitely see him being a giant forever. But
and he wants to.
And that's the thing. When you have a player that is like, he's loyal, but not loyal to the fault, you know, like, you can't, like, it's too many players. Like prime example, I know, like Keenan Allen's years as a Charger is being, to me personally, is being wasted.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, and it's not even Justin Herbert, because like Justin Herbert, well, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, but it's that whole organization, man. It's like, man, like Keenan Allen is too good.
There's a few.
Like, there's a few players. Keenan Allen and Saquon is the first 2 people I could think of right off the top. Like, but you have Keenan Allen, like, look, I'm in LA. I've been here majority of my life, my career. Me going somewhere, I love the warm weather. I like this and that. The blossom, you know what I'm saying?
No, LA
80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky every day on a Sunday. Like, I'm
good. Have you you got to go to Inglewood and see that stadium. It is.
Oh, I've driven past, and it was like, it is. Yeah, I gotta go inside just one time. I gotta, because they're gonna. I gotta go. One day. But I think with the Giant organization, everything you do starts up top, and that's with any organization, all 32 teams in the league.
Absolutely. And I think, like I said, we didn't do a lot of the trade, and we'll talk more about that. But this game was, like I said, it was. I watched it, but I didn't watch it, if that makes sense. Because, like I said, I mean, we went in there with just, it was NCCU versus Winston-Salem State. Like, you knew exactly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you knew exactly.
Central versus Elizabeth City State or something.
Right. Like, you knew exactly what you're going to get, right? And even though people like, nah, but it's the NFL and da-da-da. And I'm like, so Brian, I went through our injury report, and I normally look at the injury report before games and then during games if there are, major players that go out or whatever.
Yeah.
Literally over a third of our roster, a third of our starters on IR.
I believe it.
And I think
and the key piece of that roster is the one who got the biggest bag. That just signed a contract.
Just like the ink hadn't dried. And we talked a few weeks back before the Buffalo game, and I was like, yo, Tyrod is formidable. We don't need him to do a whole lot. We just, and he made some mistakes. I get it. And we got some questionable calls, but then, we come back out against Washington, and Tyrod he's showing flashes of old 20-something-year-old Tyrod and not 34. And then we get a good win, solid game. And we're like, okay, let's ride this wave. The conversation that Rashad and I had, because Rashad and I watched the game together, was, you know what? We can ride this wave with Tyrod. We can ride it. Let's let Daniel get healthy, not push himself, not go out there a little premature. We don't need no Aaron Rodgers.
Just be a game manager.
Just right. But we just need Tyrod to do the small things really well. And when he took that hit and went down, I was like, he's hurt for real. And the way the ball fell on him, I was like, either he got the wind knocked out of him and he needs a sec, or this is going to be really bad. It wasn't no in between. I was like, it's going to be real quick, like, let me catch my breath, or it's going to be bad. And it was what we thought. They were like, yeah, Tyrod's on his way to the hospital.
I know we jokingly say this. It's time to call Cam.
So here,
look. It's time. If not Cam, then who? There's a quarterback that is maybe a year or two out the league, outside of Cap. Cap is a whole different story for a different day. There's a quarterback right now that's sitting on the couch, just chilling.
So here's the thing. I'm not opposed to it anymore.
Because you got Tommy DeVito.
My man openly told people he lives at home in New Jersey with his mama, who still does his laundry. You don't even tell nobody that on a date.
Absolutely not.
Why are you telling that to the media?
You went from Eli Elite Manning to Daniel Jones to Tommy DeVito.
We went to in like a blink. Like think about it, in a blink of an eye. We went through 3 quarterbacks.
You went from 3 quarterbacks in a case of a year and a half, 2 years. No, 3 years.
2 games. But no. I'm saying like this season.
Oh, this season alone, yes.
We went through 3 quarterbacks in 2 games. Not even a full game. Like Tyrod got injured right before the 4th quarter in the Jets game. Daniel comes back in the Raiders game, and literally Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, and then Tommy DeVito. We went through 3 quarterbacks in a matter of 2 quarters.
The only 2 people that can save your season is Lawrence Taylor and Victor Cruz.
Why are you so childish? Why are you so childish?
Mario Manningham.
We would need Amani Toomer.
No, all you need is 2.
Talking on Fox. We need Vic. We need Strahan. I need Strahan out the booth. Like,
bro, look, just get Brandon Jacobs and just run it down people's throats, and just get the best defensive player ever that played the game. Boom, y'all good. Y'all are straight. I'm running the ball all game. That's the only thing.
Sean O'Hara and Eli Manning work for they on payroll already. What is the problem?
But yeah, y'all gotta Yeah, that's a whole different story. Let's
But look, right. So, like I said, that game, there really wasn't much to say, right? Like, I know they put the stats and Dak did this and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bruh, like, for me, I think the weird thing is like the stats. It's like, of course he's going to have an amazing statistical game. Like, look at what's going on. Like, that to me, I'm like, do y'all not watch college football? Like, every college football team plays one or two non-conference, lower level teams to pad stats and get numbers and get the guys all right. Like, it's literally kind of the same lane. Like, of course, there are going to be these great statistical games, right?
Absolutely.
But where I want you to speak your speak, because Dak Prescott actually, like I said, last week would have been great, but Dak Prescott did have two good statistical games.
Yes.
One of which was with the Eagles, and y'all still walked away with the loss. I will be honest. Well, I'm gonna let you start. What are your thoughts on that game?
The Eagles game, to me, would have been the we're here now. Like I have arrived. Like we're talking about Dak, and I feel like he had that game, but when the opportunity to take it is one thing to hand it to somebody, it's another thing to take it away. When the Eagles hand you 30 yards in a matter of a minute and some change, it's up to you to take it from them. You was at the 10. I would have spread it, QB draw, boom. I want to run this in for the touchdown to let everybody know I'm here now. I'm him. I'm the second. I'm the best player. I'm the best quarterback in the NFC, and I'm the second best player in the NFL. And honestly, statistically, that can be debatable between him and Pat. But that didn't happen. Of course, football is an ultimate team sport. We get that. Move on to next week. Like I told you, talk on Twitter, text, whatever. I'm not impressed by this game because I've seen this movie before. I've seen this movie the first game of the season.
And he also still got picked off by a rookie, which I was like,
and you still got yes. Now, are we
which
going to get
again,
one of those
he's not.
bonehead
I'm not
moves?
gonna go down to
We
picks
get it.
because he's doing better.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's a it is what it is. But I've seen this movie before, and those I think the two games that really grinds my gears is of course the 49ers and the Eagles. Now the 49ers one, we just had a total brain fart that day. The Eagles, we actually was hanging in with them. Of course, there's the brotherly shove, the tuck put the court. No one cannot stop that quarterback sneak. But it is what it is. But I think for Dak, 17 touchdowns to like 3 interceptions after the 49ers game. I can take that to the bank every day and cash it. I'm good. I think it's all a matter about playoffs. Now, these next few games, we got a cakewalk. Just be honest. We got Carolina. We got Carolina this Sunday. Turn around. We got Washington for Thanksgiving. Turn around.
That's why I wanted Rashad to be on here because here's my thing.
Now, Washington.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if you can say Washington's a cakewalk, bruh. I think if you go back and look at the Washington game with the Eagles, both of those games.
Yes. By the
that's not gonna be a cakewalk.
By what I've seen, it could be a cakewalk. Because here's the thing. Sam Howell threw 300 plus yards against the Eagles defense. Dak Prescott threw 300 plus yards against the Eagles defense. But our secondary is better than Washington's secondary by far.
Okay.
Now our front seven, oh, that's hands down. We top two and not even number two in the league when it comes to the front seven, in my humble opinion. It could go 49ers boys, however you want to put it. I think for the boys in the Washington game, of course, it's Thanksgiving. Everybody at the house, full. We always get Thanksgiving, and 9 times out of 10, we always win Thanksgiving. So I'm not worried about the Thanksgiving game, but I'm not still doubting Washington. Is Washington gonna put some points on the board? Of course, but that's all. I mean, Carolina. I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Rush get into the third quarter. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Lance gets some burn.
To be honest, I don't know why y'all not like the world wants to see what Trey Lance can do. Like
exactly. And another thing I know we gotta move on to Philly. CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in the league. Period. CeeDee Lamb is best wide receiver in the league.
So you're saying he's better than Tyreek Hill?
Statistically, right now, in this stretch, I put it like this.
No. You said the best wide receiver in the league.
Thus far, right now.
So he's better than
the way he's playing right now. Yes.
Ooh.
And it could be 1, 2, 2, 1. However you want to do it. Once again.
Ooh. Okay. No. Okay, hold on. Now
he's definitely top
best
5
wide receiver. You're saying he's number 1.
He's definitely top 5. I say
that.
Yeah,
I mean he's a
pro. But as far as your number 1, like in every team, like who's your number 1 receiver? Is CeeDee Lamb
for Dallas? Yes.
Yeah, but if you were
out of all of his, I think that CeeDee Lamb is doing what any receiver who is up for a contract should be doing, which is balling out. And again, I'm not taking that away from him. I think this is probably the first time we've really seen CeeDee Lamb be what he's supposed to be, which is the number 1 wide receiver. We've talked about that previous years. Like, but I don't know, he wearing 88 handed. We've talked about this at length for the past 2 seasons. When is CeeDee Lamb going to show that? And I do agree. I think this year he has shown it. The talent has always been there. Saying he's the number 1, the top wide receiver in the league right now, that's a tough one.
I would say this. So Tyreek Hill's stats thus far.
Mm-hmm.
He has 69 catches for 1,076 yards and 8 touchdowns. So yes, he is on pace of breaking 2,000 receiving yards. However, if you were to break down CeeDee Lamb not that off. He just off a couple of yards and some touchdowns. He has 68 catches, 975 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and he averaging 14 yards a catch.
Again, I'm not saying he's not top 5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, the 88 and the star in his helmet, whatever. He ain't worried about none of that. He's like, look, me and Dak, we got a good thing going. Let's not disturb the groove. Let's play ball. And as simple as that.
And and that's what he needs. Because if you think about it, without the run game right now, which probably I think Jerry and the Cowboys overestimated. I think they oversold on the run game by being like, "Oh, we don't need it. We got Pollard. We straight." And it's like, yeah, y'all might need a like. I don't think
we missed the running game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they oversold themselves on we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's sometimes the biggest cycle, the part of the cycle, like you said, we heard it all, which is we got the greatest team, better than our last Super Bowl teams. We're going all the way. We have a bumpy road. We go in with double-digit wins. And then if it doesn't happen, I'm going to say if, I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to say if it doesn't happen, right? If y'all don't make it to NFC Championship, if y'all don't make it to Super Bowl, the first thing we're going to start hearing is, well, Dak needs help. We shouldn't have got rid of it. It's going to be that. But it's like, when you have the opportunity to build the better team, specifically trade deadline, which we're going to talk about, there was no moves. And the one team that has been in y'all way got better.
And what's so great, they got better by just adding to the fleet.
Just one.
That's it. They got better by adding to the fleet. They didn't
really have to.
They're correct. They just created a rotation, bro. Like now you have not only you have Hargrave and Bosa, but bro, you got Chase Young.
Bro, do you see what he did? What they were doing to, and I think I sent you that video. What they were doing to Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence ain't no little dude.
He ain't.
Trevor Lawrence ain't no little dude.
They were making Trevor Lawrence look like one of those nerds in school. Like, yo, give me that lunch. I need all
literally.
Like
old school bullying before there was social media. Like
correct. Facts. Like
straight out of Spider-Man. Like, come here, nerd. Like,
come here, nerd. I need all that.
To me, for San Francisco, I think had a bye week at the right time, and they came out, and I was like, oh.
They came out guns blazing. I will say, I will give Brock Purdy and the crew that.
So look, let's go into that. Like, since we're segueing into it, right? Like, I watched the Eagles game. To me, it was, like you said, it was kind of like, I feel like we've watched this before. We've seen Dallas be, 3 games. They're like, oh, we got this, we're the best team, and then they go up against the best team. And again, it's not that Dallas played poorly, but like you said, it was that moment where, and this is a question I was going to ask you last week, and I asked you this before we talk about, the rest of the season, which is, do you believe we've seen Dak's ceiling?
I don't think so. I think right now he's in the MVP conversation.
Who's?
They said people saying Dak is in the MVP conversation right now.
We're not undisputed. Does not count. Skip Bayless does
not.
No,
serious. No. Based off this game and his stats, he's in the MVP conversation. Now I'm not giving it to him. I won't give it to him, and I'm a fan. I'm not gonna give it as long as.
Oh, here's my thing. If we're talking MVP,
as long as there's a light skinned curly hair dude that's throwing the ball in Kansas City, Missouri, that's wearing number 15.
Here's my thing.
To talk about.
And there's 2 parts of this. I'm like, we got to step back. We keep ignoring the Cardinals game. Like, we ignore the fact that, like, that happened. Right? Because like you said, I feel like every time we talk about San Francisco, the Eagles, like, y'all also lost to Josh Dobbs, right? Like you said, it was a bad game.
Now, hold on. Now,
I do that.
Now, hold on. Now, Josh Dobbs, he's
cooking.
A new Willie Beeman. Josh Dobbs, a new Willie Beeman now.
Josh Dobbs is cooking. I don't think I've ever in my life.
Every year there's a Willie Beeman that just come off the bench or just.
I've never heard of a QB. And again, I feel this is bigger than the Baker story from last year when he went to the Rams and had that game-winning drive. When you have a dude who got lost trying to get to the locker room, and two
God
was
Lord.
doing snap counts with the O-line in the middle of a game. Bro, that's insane. You're not
And he
putting
ball,
that guy in.
and he's balling out. And you got to give
Bro,
him respect.
absolutely. But
Now we're trying to men in black the situation from that erase the
just,
memory
just
of the
look.
game. You ain't
But
see nothing.
right,
But
but
I
when
mean,
you
but
talk
that
about that,
happened.
but yeah, but my thing is when you talk about that MVP, and like you said, yes, we know it's a statistical game, and at this point, it really is a quarterback. I truly think they should rename it to just making it a quarterback award, because they don't. It's so hard
Yeah.
for any other position
The
to get.
I think the last person who actually had a decent game. I mean, the last person that's not a quarterback that won the award was Adrian Peterson.
Do you know the last? I didn't realize, and I think I said it a few. The last defensive player to win it was LT in 1986. I was born then. Like it's such a quarterback conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
but I do think if we are talking about it in that bubble, do I think Dak Prescott is a part of the conversation? Yes, because like you said, statistically, he
Yes.
has to be a part of the conversation, but I think what makes it hard for Dak Prescott is that you have another quarterback in Texas who's playing lights out again. And again, that kid won against Joe Burrow. I think it's hard when you say, like you said, you got Kansas City and
Mm.
Patrick Mahomes is skill and everything he's able to do is it's miles above. You got Lamar Jackson, who, like Dak, had a bad game.
Mm.
But Lamar Jackson, to me, he's playing like Action Jackson. Like he's playing like that. So I do
That,
think you can have Dak in that conversation, but it's really hard to get that engine going when you have
correct.
these other QBs who are playing better teams and actually playing light out.
That
I
that
think that's
damn
hard.
that damn CJ Stroud.
Whew. That kid is
Right,
good.
like the season can stop right now. I would not be shocked if they give it to him.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
He'd be the first rookie, I think, in a long time that would get offensive. Well, he'd definitely get rookie of the year
Oh, he's
offensively,
absolutely getting rookie of the year. He's
and
he's running away with that.
he would get and he would get MVP.
Yeah. And D'Amico
He would
Ryans at
definitely
this
do
point
that.
is absolutely getting coach of the year. Because what he was able to do with that roster, with his draft picks, with that team, is
Kind of
it's
like kind of like what you were saying. Kind of like what you were saying prior. When you have somebody that can go to the grocery store, get the groceries, cook the groceries. I can do whatever I want. This is mine. When you have an owner like that, but when you have another owner that's also in Texas, all up in the videos,
yeah.
dancing,
Yeah.
kiki kin. Hey, look, you got a
I know
limit.
what Jerry Jones's voice
Hey,
sounds like. I
this ain't
cannot tell you what Mike McCarthy voice sounds like.
listen. This ain't
I know he
enough.
talks.
Make it enough. Like
It
you're
is
seeing the difference when it comes to, hey,
yeah.
I'm just gonna sign the checks. Do your thing. That's it.
So yeah, like I said, so going back to Dallas
I think
and
to
the
Dallas and
ceiling,
Dak.
right?
I think
You
Dallas. I think Dallas. I think Dak's ceiling. I think the way the time. I think the way everything is going. Time will tell that if Dak is a middle of the road quarterback or if he's a top five quarterback.
so you don't
I
think
think
you've seen that yet? You don't think you can make that assessment yet?
I think right now he's playing like a top five quarterback, but it's the C word that I'm worried about, and that's consistency. He has to be consistent. He had if a team that is falling apart within seconds, penalties. You have to take it.
Yeah.
That Philly game, you have to take that 30 yards in 3 plays of penalties. You got to take that.
And see, here's where I go to. I think we have seen his ceiling. And to be honest, I came to that conclusion in the same game. Like I said, this was what we were going to talk about last week, which is I think we
Yeah.
might have seen Dak's ceiling. And here's the reason why. When I say ceiling, when I think of that, I think of that we've seen everything we're going to see. I don't think there's much more. I don't think this person's going to surprise me or wow me. And the reason why is that in those situations,
Mm-hmm.
specifically a division game,
Yes.
you know this is an opportunity to get the number one seed, or it's not the number one seed, but the number one spot in the division, which means for you guys potentially home field, right? Because
Home
then
field.
it will be you in San
Yes.
Francisco fighting for
At
that number
least
one spot.
we need
But
at
you
least the first game. If we can get,
right,
if
at
we can
least
open
right, at
it
least
up,
that
just
first
the
game.
first game, we good.
Exactly. And that is going to be an advantage for you guys. Again, the way the playoffs may fall, and again, we still got more season to go, but it was in that moment I was like, I think we've seen Dak's ceiling. I don't think we're going to see him do something in any other game this season or in his
Mm-hmm.
career where we're going to be like, damn, like, I ain't even know he had that in him. I think we've
Correct.
seen what we've seen, because one thing that I noticed, and again, it's so hard to compare the Philly to the Giants game. That guy, he took a few hits in that
Oh, he
Philly
did.
game.
Oh, he definitely did. He
He
definitely
took
did.
a few hits that I was like, there was one that goal line hit where he was upside down.
Oh
And
yeah,
I was like,
Darius Slay and somebody.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
But
the fact that he bounced back up was I held my breath. I was like, ooh, that
but
like that
you
was
think
a
about it, Darius Slay even said after the either went up the deck after the game, like, yo, bro, what were you thinking? He said, dog, I'm trying to score. I'm trying to win.
yeah.
And that's what I love that. Like that, because I think relatively speaking, there was like a leash in a way on that last season. In a way,
Last
like
season?
like be a game manager, kind of like we'll open up the playbook for you, but we're gonna keep you in the pocket. But if you run maybe like 5 yards, slide. But bro, like if I see 15 yards, I'm gonna take the 15 and slide. Why not give me the 5? Whatever. I
Yeah.
think now with Mike McCarthy, I think week by week, and when I look back at Mike McCarthy and how he had two top 10 quarterbacks of all time, and you won a bowl. You got a ring. You got 2 rings under those,
Oh
especially
yeah.
like Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
he had Brett Favre for a little bit at the
Okay.
defense,
Was he there
but he
when
had
okay.
but he had Aaron Rodgers
Aaron
that
Rodgers,
whole
yeah.
time. So when you have the best thrower of the football, a top 10 generational talent in Aaron Rodgers,
Prime Aaron
I
Rodgers.
think you open up. I think week by week by week, as you seen Aaron's progression, he began to open up the playbook a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So that's why he said in the beginning of the season, yeah, we're going to run it. We're going to run it. But then now as you can see, he's opened up the playbook more because CD is saying, "Let me get the ball."
Give me the
And
ball, right.
this player, now he's opening it up more, so that way people can start to understand, like, okay, Mike McCarthy is really no slouch. He had Aaron Rodgers, so
Yeah.
I'm not saying Dak is Aaron Rodgers, but he's like, yo, if you work with me, I can
Yeah.
take you somewhere, kind
Yes.
of
I
thing.
agree.
Mm.
But I like I said, I think the only and I and again I'm with you, like only time will tell, right? But I do
Correct.
We gonna have this conversation. We on week 10. We talked
Yeah.
about this. In February, actually in January, February, we're gonna have
Yes.
the same conversation. And again,
Yes.
I'm not putting it on anybody because again, when we look at the NFC, the top 4 teams that are more than likely going to excel, like we know what we got, and it's
Mm-hmm.
the Philadelphia Eagles. They're what 2 games ahead. They have the best record in the league. And again, they too had a bye at a really great time. And they didn't even go in the bye with a bunch of injuries, right? Like last year, they needed the bye because Jalen
Yeah.
was injured. They're not even going. Well, Jalen was a little injured, but he wasn't sitting out injured like last year.
Jalen,
So they
yeah.
had a bye
Jalen
at a
needed
real right. Like
Jalen needed
Right. They had to buy at the right time. They needed him to get that time, whether it was the knee or whatever, but he got to buy at the right time.
that.
San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco had to buy at the perfect time. I think Detroit, I think they've already had their bye, but Detroit is rolling. They're a tough team. I think the game they had with the Ravens was an outlier. I mean, Rashad and I was at the bar, we was watching, it was like, what is happening over there? Right. So
Yes.
I think Detroit is definitely not a team to sleep on. And in Dallas, right? Those are the 4 best teams in the NFC. And I think everybody else is good, but you don't know what you're going to get day to day, right? Like, and again, even Washington, I don't think Washington is going to be a cakewalk. And the only reason why I say that is because Washington, in my opinion, has nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose, everything to gain, because they also know that they are about to go. They are technically in a rebuild. When you get rid of 2 of your best
Mm-hmm.
defensive players, giving one of them to one of the best teams in the NFC, and hands down top 5 team. Well, I can't say top 5 in the NFL, but one of the better teams in the NFL. You clearly are on a rebuild. You know Ron Rivera is on his way
Yes.
out. Win, lose, or draw,
Yes.
Ron Rivera's done. I don't know about Eric Bieniemy because they got Magic in there. Magic, like, I'm here to win.
Yes.
So
You're
Washington's
absolutely
in a
right.
rebuild, and they lost 2 of their best defensive players and then won. Like they
Yes.
won last week. So I'm not sleeping on Washington. And again, they were in a very, very tough game against Seattle, and Seattle is
Mm-hmm.
playing lights out too. So those are teams, to me, Washington, Seattle, the Vikings, they're going to play spoiler because they
Correct.
don't have a
Yeah.
lot to lose. Even if they get in the playoffs, they really are going to the playoffs to play spoiler, which I think can be something a little dangerous. But we're going to have this conversation at the end of the season because, outside of us talking about wherever we are by the end of the season.
Yeah. That's hold on. Hold on
Okay.
1 second. Sorry.
But yeah, like despite I think wherever things are by the end of the season, we are going to have this conversation again, right? We're going to have to talk about our QBs, where we
Yes.
are, what we're doing. But that's one thing. Like I said, I'll be curious to see what you think by the end of the season, right? Like, yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
right. How you feel by the end of the season, specifically when we talk about Dak? Because we might be talking about totally different. We might, Dak, he did this, and like, we got to put some respect on his name, But
I think Dak. Like I said, I think at the end of the season, I think I would want, and I said this week 1 of episode 1. I want Dak to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, and that will be his dad. I mean, of course, any team, any quarterback
yeah,
would want that, but I think most of it, Dak Prescott, who has been so criticized, and we saw last night, Josh Allen got
they're not
like,
good, and I think he knows it though. One thing I will say about Josh Allen, and I hear you because I know he doesn't get the same type of criticism that Dak
correct.
does, and I will agree. Last night was the first time I was like, Brian was right. He was right.
Yo, we don't
But
talk. We gotta have it.
we
Everybody
have
has
to have the
had the Everybody
conversation.
has said the same thing. We gotta have the conversation about Josh Allen. We
I
got
think Josh
to. It's
Allen
time.
is
It's
bad
been
this year. Yeah, I think Josh Allen is bad this year, and I think he knows it. You can see it in his
Oh
face.
yeah, yeah. You see the
You can
frustration,
see it in his face. He
but
knows
they
that he is not.
fired the OC.
Yeah, I saw. I was in a meeting. I
Yeah.
was like,
So much so they fired the OC. They got Joe Brady, who was actually the Panthers OC when the Panthers went on that 15-1 run. He was the
mm.
OC then.
I don't, last night let me know. And again, granted, it was a field goal, right? Like it was a
Yes.
field goal, and to be honest, I think I tweeted that. I said, when it happened, the 12 men on the field, the first thing I said was, oh, a coach is getting fired. Some
Yes.
coach is getting fired. You
Yes.
you have to fire a
Special,
coach.
special teams coach. Somebody they're getting let go.
Kickers coach, somebody's getting somebody has to take the fall for it. It's such a bonehead move. But Josh, like, again, let's say no, it's 11 men on the field. He misses a kick.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo won. Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen would have went into that press conference the same way he did against the Giants, knowing he should have lost.
Yes, absolutely.
Knowing he should have lost and didn't. So he's definitely diminished. And you're right. Like I said, I said that yesterday. I was like, Brian is right. Like
Once again,
we gotta talk
when
about
you
Josh Allen
have,
being there.
bless you, man.
Bless you.
Bless,
Ooh, bless you.
once again, when you have a top 5 wide receiver on your left or your right side, and you're not giving him the ball,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Too much so that you had his brother.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
In recovery saying,
His brother
yo,
said, hey, get him out.
get him out of there.
Get him out of
And
there.
guess what? We will love.
Of course y'all do.
We will love.
And I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all not finna do at the end of this season.
We're not gonna pay. We're not gonna pay.
I'm not hearing it. The Cowboys, y'all can say anything y'all want at the end of the season. I don't even care if when y'all host the Lombardi, y'all can hoist the Lombardi and say a lot of stuff. One thing I'm not about to hear is Dak needs more weapons. If anyone out here say that, I'm losing.
If we go to the bowl, we keep this team. We go to the bowl and win. We not. I mean, if anything, we'll probably restructure some contracts, try to bring everybody back. Of course, draft some people.
Yeah,
trade
you
a
have
few
to.
people. But
Here's my thing: don't try to run it back. I think the run it back thing, it always.
Oh yeah. Now this core right here, we ain't get rid of them. They here.
Yeah, and look, by the end of the year, we're gonna be talking contracts because, like I said, CeeDee Lamb is playing in a way to go to Jerry Jones and be like, so here's the check.
I want to be the highest paid wide receiver.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb is gonna go to Jerry Jones and be like, I'm gonna write the number.
He's playing like rent. Yeah, he's playing like rent is due.
Yeah. He's going to, again, he's going to Jerry Jones with a check and being like, no. Actually, I need your banking and routing number. I need your account and routing number. I'll put the number. And again, CeeDee Lamb, even just half of the season, he's playing to be paid like a top wide receiver. He deserves it. And to me, CeeDee Lamb's also shown the progression, which is what you do want to see in your draft pick that's gonna keep going. So look, I'm not gonna hold you much longer. Look, let's just go right into next week. Well, see, it's hard.
Okay.
Y'all playing Carolina. Like,
you playing Carolina. It's a gimme. We're fine. I mean, listen, Bank of America Stadium gonna be packed anyway. Of course, more Cowboys fans than Carolina fans.
It's probably about $45 in a bucket of chicken. Like
$45 and some Bojangles. Everybody will get a voucher.
Like, come on.
Everybody will get a 3-piece Supreme walking into the stadium. Like, come on, what are we talking about? Yeah, like, we got nothing to talk about. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I will say it'll be very interesting to see this Philly Kansas City game. This Philly Kansas City game is going to be, this is
that
rematch, huh?
Is that a night game or was that at 4:00?
Oh, yes. Oh, of course. What is that? It's either a Sunday or Monday night game. I want to say Monday, but
I'm telling you right now, we're on a collision course to where both of us is going to be 9-3. when we meet again December 5th. Because they have the tougher schedule than us.
Yes.
They got KC 1 week turnaround. They have Buffalo turnaround, and I think they have I want to say San Fran. I want to say
Yeah.
I may be lying, but I don't know. I may be
No,
whatever.
so here's the thing: both of y'all have a tough stretch, and in Buffalo, have
We
we not?
have more of a cupcake. So we got Carolina, Washington.
I'm about to tell you why you don't, because I looked at y'all. I looked at all of our schedules. The reason why y'all don't, your last 5 games, everybody's fighting for playoff positioning, and what makes everyone is fighting for playoff position, and the problem that y'all might have is, granted, Miami's up and down, Buffalo's up and down. They are every game. You have the AFC is so tight. The AFC is so loaded and so tight that these dudes in the AFC cannot lose a game anymore. Like Joe Burrow can't lose another game and he's out of the playoffs. Buffalo lose one more game, they're out of the playoffs.
They done.
Miami lose. I think Miami might. I looked at their schedule. I think they could lose maybe 2 more games because they haven't played the Patriots yet. They lose 1 or 2 more games, they're out of playoff. Like, because again, Houston's really good. So like you guys, I think the hardest part of your stretch is that the last like 4 or 5 games, even including Washington, everybody's fighting for a playoff game. And you guys are, I think Dallas has your viewpoint is, well, we know we'll be in the playoffs. We're just trying to figure out where we may lie. Right.
Because right now, if the playoffs were to start, we play San Fran.
Right. And y'all don't want to do that, right? Like, y'all don't. Let's just keep it a buck. Y'all don't want to do that again.
Nah. So if anything, we need to get,
y'all need to get this.
Of course, we would love to get the number 1 seed. That way we have home field advantage.
Y'all need the NFC. Y'all want to play the NFC South first.
Honestly, man, it would be clutch.
You want to play the South first.
It would be clutch. Yes, that. And it would be clutch if a team can just beat San Francisco for us or Philly, and we will be good.
Listen, here's the thing. I ain't hating. Who doesn't want the easy route? Like, who doesn't want the easy route to the bowl?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm definitely not hating on that. But I will say, because you guys are more so playing just for seeding, where again we talked about it earlier, that Cardinals game could bite y'all because y'all also can't lose a lot of games. You don't have a lot of cushion. Y'all can only lose.
I think we got room. We got room to lose maybe one. Maybe one. Maybe one more.
Y'all lose 2, and you could be literally like on the outside hoping to like double dutching. Like, hold on, Seattle lose this week? Did Philly lose? Like, y'all, and that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all don't. Your cakewalk was last week and this week. That last stretch, y'all have, look at your schedule, bro. You have nothing but teams that are going to be fighting for a playoff spot going into position. Whether they're going into Dallas or y'all going to them. They are like, bro, we can't lose this because if we do, our season is over. And like I said, when I looked at y'all schedule, because of that Cardinals loss, like y'all could afford to lose to San Francisco and Philly. That Cardinals loss, I think, is one that y'all might look back. If you lose one game, y'all gonna look back like, damn, we really should have beat the Cardinals.
Yes.
Because you guys only, when I looked at it the other day, because I always do this like during lunch. When I was looking at it, I was like, yo, Dallas really can only lose like 2. And two is generous. 2 is we lost 2 and we now got a scoreboard watch for other folks to lose a game.
Correct.
So yeah,
y'all
yeah.
Kind of like our beloved Eagles.
Oh, look, that's a whole nother podcast. And you know I only got one team I be rooting for out here, right? Like I'm like the
Man, the
one
last
team.
people look, the last team I want to root for is Morgan State.
Bro, we are all team Bears. Like we gonna put on our orange and blue, my dude. Like it's crazy, but no, look, I'm gonna let you go. Look, we play Washington, and like I said, at this point, we're
At this
trying to
point,
get that
honestly,
number
it's
one, number
a
two
toss
draft
up.
pick.
Listen,
Yeah,
I said this to every Giants fan and every since the beginning of the season. Saquon or bust, baby.
but like I
That's
said,
it.
I think at this point, Joe Shane and Brian, you know what I'm gonna start doing? What I normally don't do. I gotta start watching all these. I gotta start watching USC. I gotta watch Washington. I gotta watch your Tar Heels. Like I
You
gotta
got
start watching. I
you
gotta
got to
start
watch
watching these
something else
college
that can at
games.
least correct
Yeah,
because I,
that's where we at. Because
yeah,
because of what happened. Like you said, I'm not anti Cam because we have to get a good veteran. We got to get a solid veteran, and to me, Cam would not be a bad idea. Um, we got to just get a little bit more depth, especially if we bring in.
correct,
I mean, like I said, we are now at a point where we have to draft a quarterback. We don't have any
correct.
choice, and because of Daniel's injury, my dude's not coming back till potentially week 7 of next season. He's probably he's on a Kyler Murray kind of thing, right? Like it's going
Well,
to potentially be 10 to 11 months.
Cam is the next best quarterback that's at the house right now chilling.
Yeah.
If not Cam, I will give y'all a Coop. I will get a Jameis. I will get somebody that can get you out of that mud for
But
at least 6 to 7 weeks.
I was gonna say a few weeks ago, I think I had said that. I was like, yo, we probably should have went after Cooper Rush.
Yeah,
I think we should have went after Cooper Rush.
he would at least kept y'all afloat.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He would at least kept y'all afloat. Get a
Yeah.
nice game manager. Hey, I know who I have. I know who I don't have. Let's rock. And that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm 100% with you. But yeah, we're drafting, scouting. Like I said, I'm like, oh, guess I got to start watching UNC games to see what's the high. Let me watch some USC games. Let me watch
Yeah,
some
USC,
games,
US,
like
UNC, caught a little bit of Colorado, throw some
Colorado.
Alabama
Yeah,
in there.
we
Yeah,
watching. We're watching. I am on college quarterback watch at this point, right?
yes.
But
You on
like I said,
Taylor Lid.
I'm interested to see, like I said, I think we are getting into the fun part of the NFL. We know the really good teams. We know the middle of the pack, and we know who we're not watching anymore, right? Like we know those middle of the pack, which is again, I still put Washington middle of the pack,
Yeah,
Seahawks middle of the pack. Again, we're now watching Texans games,
the
middle of the
Texans,
pack.
middle of
We're
the pack.
watching Joe Burrow not be able to do the Joe Burrow things, right? Like,
Don't be surprised if Cleveland makes a run.
yo,
Don't be
get out of
surprised.
my head. I was literally about to say that.
Don't be surprised if Cleveland makes a run. If Cleveland can make a run, because this right here should automatically boost Deshaun Watson. It's like Deshaun Watson alone on talent, he should be the best quarterback in the league by far.
He's
But of
supposed to
course,
be.
situations happen. It is what it is. Whatever. However, he wasn't playing like it the past couple of weeks. Now he is. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think right now, I think after this Ravens win,
Yeah.
he he gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Do
Oh
not
no.
be
Oh,
surprised if they make a run because they beat the 49ers a couple weeks ago. They
yep.
shocked the world when they beat them. And that I'm talking
Yep.
about they beat them up. They beat them.
Yeah. They were very
Now you went
physical.
head to head with a guaranteed team that's going to go to at least go to the AFC divisional. If
Yeah.
I can make a run with what I have, you lost Nick Chubb. I hope Nick Chubb come back, ready to rock and roll next season. But they'll be fine. Don't be shocked if they make a run and they get like a fifth or sixth seed.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't let them get a wild card. It's a wrap.
Yeah. Oh
They'll
no,
spoil. They're gonna spoil the party.
they're gonna, oh, absolutely, they're gonna get busy. So like there's still this is when it's fun because we can talk playoff, you
Correct.
can talk the mix, you
Correct.
are scoreboard watching, your red zone, you're all in because specifically on the AFC side, like there's no team that can afford to lose. Even the great Kansas City, who got that upset against the Broncos, like
Kansas City right now is just they untouchable, man. They good, man. They
hey,
right
but
now
Russell
they
Wilson
in
had
cruise
the
control.
number.
Yeah,
Russell
they
Wilson
in
had
cruise
the number.
control.
But
And Detroit.
all right, look, Detroit, when you have a coach that looks like he enjoys bar fights,
I wouldn't even say bar
you
fight. It's like he should be in Game of Thrones.
all of the above.
All the
All of the above. Like that
all
dude,
the
I'm
above.
like, that the way he walks around the field after the game, I'm like, is he looking for somebody to punch? Like, why is
Oh,
he
he
look?
look. Oh, I'm talking about knucking, bucking, ready to fight.
He always look like he's ready. Like he is ready
Yes.
for whatever.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
Detroit is some bruises. Because and that Detroit can be scary because again, they're a team that's so under the radar that nobody's really talking about because again, they have Jared Goff. But I'm like, y'all, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. What are we talking about? And he's still playing good. They beat Aaron Rodgers last year and kept them out of the playoffs. That's who you have to worry
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. And
So
that Detroit team, despite the record, their fight, their effort was just the beginning. They
yes,
parlayed that into this season, and now they have a
yes.
winning record, first time in a long time. And
And they
now
got
they
momentum. Yeah.
yeah,
So
now they
yeah,
do.
this is like I said, I think this is when the season gets really, really fun. You know the identity of teams, you see what teams are there. Like I said, I don't think we're watching scoreboards as much as the AFC, but you guys in Philly, I also think have a very, very tough stretch down the line. And it'll be really interesting to see how the playoff picture really does kind of
Yes.
even out. So
Yeah.
look, we'll be watching. We'll be watching. But look, we're gonna wrap
Indeed.
it up there. Brian, I'm glad you were able to hang with me. Ahmed was trying to get on, but I was like, we're pretty much almost done.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to get him on next week or something. But
Most
look,
definitely.
I'm glad we were able to talk football. Do what people are seeing and hearing about what a third of what
A third of my yes. This is my life, my main man math.
seeing
My
a third of our conversations and hanging out. But look, it was great. First off, it was great to see you at homecoming. You look great. You look healthy. You ain't
thank
getting
you.
no dad bod. I was like, oh, my man he ain't cut out.
I ain't missing no meals, but yeah, I need to get back into the gym. I got we got
Look,
a Peloton in the house, so we gotta get it in.
I've seen some dads. I'll be like, did you carry the baby? So but no, it was in all honesty, it was great to see you at homecoming. It was such a great vibe to see so many of us. Just everyone was doing well, looking good. Melanin was just literally
Correct.
popping in the
Yeah,
sun, not a
man.
cloud in the sky. It was great. And so thank you for being able to hang with me this week. We're gonna do this
Absolutely.
next Tuesday and the other Tuesdays and the other Tuesdays. And look, that after
Absolutely. We in
Thanksgiving
there.
game, look, we gonna be right here. So I appreciate you, Brian, so much. Mav hanging out with us for a few minutes. But look, this Let's
Yeah.
Talk Football with Sha'Niece and Friends. I'm Sha'Niece, is my friend Brian. Y'all have a good one. See y'all later. Bye.
All right. Peace.